All right, y'all, so here we go with Northern Breeze. This is the round 2 for this week's DGVPT. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you kind of the lines that I'm going to be using. Just hoping for a 1 wind here. And unfortunately, we don't get it. So I'll just show you what, I won't throw it. If I do get a 1 wind, I'm probably going to run this with the Instinct. I typically like to run this with a skip fairway, but obviously this bag doesn't have that, so... and the skip driver is just too long. It's just too risky to throw a driver here. But the Logic is my safe play, and then the Instinct, if I do get a 1 wind, I'm probably going to run it with this line here. Bottom chevron, right where that branch meets that arch, and then just a straight pull from there. And like 95% of the time in a 1 wind, it's going to drop safely if it doesn't go in. So my safe play, I typically throw the harp on this hole, the sticky harp. I don't like the drop here just because I feel like I have to power it down. Otherwise, it might go long. So basically, I'm going to turn the Logic into my harp play and just add more hyzer. So top chevron right there in the corner there, and about half power of hyzer. With this wind, I'm going to put a little more than half power just because that left to right wind. So about right there, and that should be a nice, safe birdie throw, just like that. I mean, that's as safe as it gets, so more than likely that's my play there on that hole. But in a 1 wind, there's a good chance I go for it with the Instinct. Second hole can be a little tricky. The PD is just too much in my opinion, even with a headwind like this. I don't like having to rely on, hitting the rock to stop me. So I'm going to throw a mid-range. I don't typically like the MD1 that much, but this is actually a good hole for it. So I'm going to slide left. We're going to try, the goal is going just right of this tree here. So we're going to go, see that part of the snow right there? We're going to put the middle chevron just in line with that, if that makes sense. You can see the top chevron pointing at that snow on the rock there. So middle chevron just in line with that. And then with this wind, we're going to go about a disc and a half of anhyzer, about right there. And that looks pretty dang good. Hopefully it's not too far right. Ooh, almost too far right. So almost a little bit too much turn, but that's the line I'm going to be using most likely, depending on the wind, but I like that one. It's going to be safe most of the time. It's a tough hole in general, especially when it's not your own bag, but I think that's going to work for me. This next hole also can be tricky depending on the wind. We got a 1 wind. I wish I had a sticky PD, but this is the glide. I don't think the Instinct's long enough. I don't really want to go backhand and ace run this through this gap, because if I miss, I think you can end up too long. So my plan, I'm going to try to use my same line that I throw the sticky sapphire. I'm going to try to catch these branches a little bit just to slow me down. So that's kind of my plan here. See if it works. A little more than a disc of anhyzer on the PD. Hopefully it doesn't hit that tree. So, oh, that looks great. So just catch those trees like so. Would have been nice to get a little more distance, but that'll be all right. 88 feet up the hill. Okay, Logic, don't let me down. Whew, just enough power on that. But we get a nice birdie there. This hole, so this is typically the perfect wind for the Glide Sapphire. The Glide PD is more stable. So middle chevron under this rock. If I had a Glide Sapphire, I'd just pull this straight down, but it's not. So I could either give it some anhyzer or I can aim to the right a little more. I think what I'm going to do is give it some anhyzer, about a disc, and I think that's going to be pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't go long. Sometimes you get unlucky and it bounces kind of up on this rock up onto the platform. Doesn't happen to me there. So I really like the PD on this hole for a birdie. This next hole, the DD1 is not my favorite disc. It's kind of weird because it is flippy, but it doesn't turn. Like, it's weird. I can put almost as much ante as I normally do with this shot with the Glide Skip Rive and do it on the DD1, and it still doesn't seem to turn as much. So basically I'm going to throw the same kind of ace line. There's probably a much safer line here, but I still like this one, and it gives me kind of a long shot at an ace. And as long as I don't hit a tree dead on, it usually is going to give me a pretty decent chance at birdie. So slide left, bottom chevron right in that little opening there, and then we're going to go just past full anhyzer. And hopefully just to the right of this tree, that might go in. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I made it. That was sweet. So there you go. That's why I'm using that line, just for the long shot that it goes in. Hopefully, I probably just wasted my one ace, and I'm probably not going to do that in the event, but hey, that's pretty awesome. What would be even cooler is if we got back-to-back aces. Now, backhand PD with like a full anhyzer, default aim is like perfect for this wind, but it's too risky, not going to do it. So I'm going to use my same line that I use for the glide roll rive, but I'm going to use the PD2 because it's an awesome disc. Not the same, usually I go right to this sign there, but this is more stable. So I'm going to take about a disc off of anhyzer, if that makes sense. So that's where I go with the glide roll. So we're going to go about, oh shoot, my finger almost slipped off. All right, I'm going to go about to the edge of the sign there. On a forehand, give this a shot, but it comes in, oh, a little too high there. Comes in nice and steep, so I don't have to worry about it flying by the basket. It's usually going to be a putt. Every once in a while, you might get off too much and hit one of those trees and follow B, but for the most part, that's a pretty safe line. That would have been so nice to get that one. All right, hole 7. We all know this is a tough one. Oh, we get a tough wind here too. So normally in this wind I would go with the turn glide. I'm going to go with the DD1 though. And normally I aim middle chevron just below this tree, but this doesn't quite have the lift, so I'm going to aim a little higher and make sure I put some turn on this. Think about right there. Too much. We got to get some luck here. That's OB. So that was not a great win. We might be able to save this though. Man, yeah. So if that was a one wind, I would probably just put just a tiny bit of anhyzer with that same line. Let's see, what do we got here? 3 wind. Man. I think I'm going to go DD1 backhand and just turn the heck out of this thing. Oh no. Get up over it. Shoot. That was not what I had planned, so we kind of screw this hole up. So just ignore this hole. This is not how you want to play this hole. This is going to take a heck of a shot to save the birdie here. 170 downhill. Last thing I want to do here is go out of bounds. So I'm just going to throw it nice and high. Maybe you get lucky, but no such luck. So that kind of negates my ace, unfortunately. I just didn't play that hole well. It was a tough win, though. I might adjust, throw a different disc in that wind if that comes up in the event, but good luck on that hole because it's tough. But the DD1 should be a good disc. You could probably get away with the other 2 drivers as well. I'm sure there's lines for both of those. This one here, this is actually good to have a little bit of a headwind because you don't want the PD to go too far. So we're going to aim bottom chevron just under the right side of that tree and a little bit of anhyzer. This looks great. Shouldn't have enough power to make it all the way down. Oh, stop. See, if it's a headwind or if it's a tailwind or a calm wind, then I would definitely consider powering down just a touch with that line, just because you can go long. You can ace it too if you hit it just right, but if it's a calm wind, I'm going to power down the PD just a little bit. Man, the PD is perfect for this hole, but this wind is rough. Man. So slide right, bottom chevron on this tree here. Thinking about going paradigm, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Like in a calm wind, this is my line. I'm going to put a disc of anhyzer. With this wind, I'm going to pull straight down. just because that wind is going to take it off to the right before it starts to come back. This is great. It's just going to be short. Oh, we get some good ground play, so that's not as bad as I expected in that wind. 81 feet for the birdie. Logic should be a good disc here. Just aim on that right side and take some power off. Oh no. Well, kind of a unfortunate ending there. But you get the idea, and hopefully that gives you some lines for Northern Breeze. Had the nice ace, some good lines. Did pretty well all the way up until we butchered hole 7, missed a throw in on hole 9. But there you go, guys. There's Northern Breeze. Good luck in this week's DGVPT, and then keep an eye out. I'll probably do like a live play with friends session for those that want to practice some of these layouts. And as always, guys, thanks for watching me play some DGV.